In this video, we'll be revealing the costly mistake most Americans with pensions make and how treating your retirement pension like a paycheck can actually hinder long-term financial security. Through working with pension recipients over the past 20 plus years, we at Rubino & Lang Wealth Partners have discovered that the biggest threat to retirement security isn't market volatility, it's spending your pension income in the wrong sequence and timing. And that's why we're making this video today, to show you the mindset mistakes people with pensions often make and how to fix them before they create an irreversible retirement income gap. Let's get right into it. The paycheck mentality trap that destroys pension value. Let's start with what we call the paycheck mentality trap. This is when retirees treat their pension the same way they treated their paycheck during their working years. The money comes in every month and it feels safe, steady, and predictable. So they spend it like they always have. Now, the problem with that mindset works great when you're working, but it's dangerous in retirement because your financial life has flipped. You've moved from earning and saving to spending and preserving. When you treat your pension like a paycheck, you tend to spend freely in those early years. Dinners out, travel, gifts, maybe some home upgrades, without realizing that every spending choice affects your future flexibility. And unlike your working years, you can't just make it up next month with overtime or bonuses or, again, more paychecks. This approach also ignores critical coordination points, such as how your pension interacts with Social Security timing, portfolio withdrawals, and tax efficiency. At Rubino & Lang, we see this often. Retirees start their pensions immediately, start Social Security early, and then draw from savings all at once. And it feels comfortable, but it wastes the powerful levers that can extend retirement income for decades. And here's a key part to that. Poor spending decisions create permanent lifestyle reductions. Market losses can recover, but overspending rarely does. When you overspend pension income in the early years, you give up one of your biggest advantages, the guaranteed predictable cash flow that your pension was designed to provide for life. That's why we say market volatility can shake your portfolio, but that paycheck mentality, that's what quietly breaks your plan. Now that we understand how the paycheck mentality creates problems, let's talk about what those problems look like in real life through a pattern the data shows clearly. The front-loaded spending pattern that creates future retirement income gaps. According to research from the Employee Benefit Research Institute, nearly half of retirees spend significantly more in the first few years of retirement than they had planned to. This is called front-loaded spending. And it makes sense, right? You've worked hard, you want to enjoy it while you're healthy. And that makes emotional sense and psychological sense. But financially, it often creates what we call a shortfall in your portfolio income needs, meaning your future spending exceeds what your income sources can sustainably provide. And when this happens, retirees often end up having to tighten their belts right when they least want to, in their 70s or 80s, when health care costs can rise dramatically and lifestyle cuts hurt the most. This early retirement overspending pattern is especially risky because healthcare costs and taxes tend to increase over time. So when you use too much of your guaranteed income early, you lose that flexibility to adapt later. This also runs against what economists call the retirement spending smile. That's the idea that spending usually starts high, dips in the middle of retirement, and then raises again later in your years due to healthcare needs. When you front load all of your spending without a sound strategy, you potentially create an unnecessary income gap that your future self has to solve. Let's look at an example. Tom and Sarah are both 62. Tom spent 35 years working for the state, and Sarah worked in healthcare. Together, they've saved about $1.2 million, and Tom receives a $4,000 a month pension. When Tom retired, that first pension check hit their account, and it felt like payday again. So they spent it freely. They bought a new car, they upgraded their kitchen, they started traveling more often, and they started drawing down from their savings to supplement all of the fun that they were having. Within the first 5 years, they had spent almost $250,000 of their retirement savings without realizing that their pension income had also pushed them into a higher tax bracket. By age 70, when healthcare expenses began rising, they realized that they couldn't maintain their lifestyle without dipping even deeper into their portfolio. Now, some people might say, well, Isn't that kind of the point of retirement savings, right? Isn't that what retirement savings are for, to spend? And yes, that's true. Your portfolio is meant to be used, but the timing and sequence of where those withdrawals are coming from matter far more than most retirees realize. And here's why. When you draw heavily from your portfolio early in retirement, you're spending down assets that could have generated future income through compounding. You're also exposing yourself to what we call sequence of returns risk, meaning that if the market dips while you are withdrawing from it, your portfolio may never fully recover. And that's what happened to Tom and Sarah. By spending too freely early on, they had increased their portfolio income needs, or their PIN that we like to call it, and that reduced their ability to generate sustainable income later in life. In their case, they entered what we call the shortfall framework of our 365 retirement plan process, where their desired lifestyle was outpacing the income that their assets could safely support. Now, imagine if Tom and Sarah had viewed that pension differently, not as monthly income to spend, but as a lifetime asset to coordinate with everything else. In that scenario, they could have structured withdrawals to make their income last longer and taxes stay lower. So here's an example. Instead of claiming Sarah's Social Security immediately at 62, she could have delayed until 67 or even age 70. Why? Because for every year you delay benefits beyond your full retirement age, your monthly payment increases by about 8% per year, adjusted for life expectancy. So in Sarah's case, her benefit at 62 would have been about $1,800 a month. By delaying to age 67, it would rise to roughly $2,500 a month. And by age 70, over $3,000 a month. And that's not just a few $100s, that's a lifetime increase of over $150,000 in guaranteed inflation-adjusted income. Delaying benefits doesn't just boost the check, it also creates flexibility. During those early years when Sarah delayed, they could have used a portion of Tom's pension plus some tax-efficient withdrawals from their taxable account to bridge that gap. That coordination keeps taxes low in the short term and creates a stronger guaranteed income base later in life when healthcare costs and longevity risks are higher. This is the power of creating your pension as a strategic asset, not just for cash flow. It's about orchestrating all of your income sources, not just simply turning them on and hoping that they last. And now that you understand lifetime asset reframing, if you feel like you're in a similar situation where you need to optimize your pension strategy, click the link below to book a call and we'll analyze your specific situation to help you optimize your retirement plan as a whole. Let's take this a step further and explain why coordinating Social Security with your pension usually beats claiming everything independently. When couples make independent claiming decisions, each spouse tends to claim based on their own income needs or fear of missing out, not on how the two benefits interact. But Social Security isn't an individual benefit. It's a household system. Coordinating those decisions allows couples to maximize their survivor benefits. So when one spouse passes, the survivor keeps the higher of the two benefits. By delaying the higher earner's benefit, you can protect the surviving spouse for decades. You also manage taxes more effectively. Social Security is taxable only when your combined income exceeds certain thresholds. So coordinating with pension start dates can keep you in a lower tax bracket for years longer. It also helps you reduce portfolio drawdowns. Again, a higher guaranteed income stream later in life means less pressure on your investments during market downturns. Again, for example, by delaying Sarah's benefit, Tom and Sarah could have raised their lifetime Social Security income by about $180,000 while reducing taxable IRA withdrawals in their 60s by almost $40,000. According to the Boston College Center for Retirement Research, coordinated benefit strategies like this can increase a couple's lifetime guaranteed income by 10 to 15% compared to claiming both benefits immediately. So when we say independent claiming leaves money on the table, that's not just a phrase, it's actual math. Coordinated planning transforms your income streams from disconnected silos into a household income engine that maximizes total after-tax cash flow, longevity protection, and lifestyle flexibility. Once guaranteed income is coordinated, the next opportunity is managing taxable income flow. But before we get into that, if you feel like you're in a similar situation where you need to optimize your pension strategy, click the link below and find out more on how you can implement this in your life. Our 365 retirement plan process is designed to consider all aspects of your specific situation to help you create a retirement plan that's built to work every day of the year so you don't have to. Let's get into that taxable account strategy that minimizes future tax burdens. Many retirees make the mistake of drawing proportionally from every account, right? A little bit from your IRA or Roth, your taxable accounts, without considering how these withdrawals affect lifetime taxes. But according to Fidelity's 2024 retirement tax planning study, retirees who sequence withdrawals strategically, especially from taxable accounts, can reduce lifetime taxes by up to $50,000 to $100,000 over the course of a 25-year retirement. And in Tom and Sarah's case, we could have identified that their pension and required IRA distributions later would push them into higher tax brackets. So during their early 60s, before RMDs kick in, we would have suggested drawing more from their taxable accounts to keep their adjusted gross income low. This would not only lower their tax rate at the time, but could also help them qualify for reduced Medicare premiums. Strategic taxable withdrawals give you control over your tax destiny, while proportional withdrawals leave you at the mercy of tax brackets. It's one of the simplest but most overlooked tools to create long-term flexibility. Now let's tackle a big one here, healthcare, right? According to Fidelity's 2024 retiree healthcare cost estimate, the average 65-year-old couple retiring will need about $315,000 to cover medical expenses throughout retirement. And that doesn't even include long-term care costs. So if you're not preparing for those costs, your pension income, the money that you hoped would fund travel, hobbies, and lifestyle, could end up funding your doctor's visits and prescriptions instead. Tom and Sarah could have taken steps to prevent that. By planning for healthcare early, they preserve their pensions for living, not surviving. Healthcare inflation typically outpaces general inflation by 2 to 3% per year. So without proper planning, that erosion can force painful lifestyle cuts. But with preparation, your pension can stay designated for its intended purposes in your overall retirement plan. Now that you understand healthcare cost preparation, let's look at the comprehensive pension optimization framework that integrates all of these strategies. Looking back, Tom and Sarah realized that their mistake wasn't saving too little, it was planning too late. See, they had treated their pension as income to spend, not as an asset to coordinate. Had they created a detailed income plan before retirement, they could have dramatically improved their lifetime financial security. Here's what they should have done. Step 1, define their income gap, right? Before retiring, they needed to calculate their portfolio income needs, the difference between what they wanted to spend each year and what their guaranteed sources, again, pension and Social Security, would provide. That simple calculation would have shown them whether their lifestyle was sustainable and how their savings needed to be used to fill that gap. It would have also revealed whether they could safely retire early or whether they needed to adjust expectations first. Step 2, they wanted to coordinate their pension with their Social Security timing. Again, instead of turning both income sources on at once, they could have used their pension as a bridge covering living expenses while delaying Social Security. For every year that they waited past full retirement age, their Social Security benefits would have grown by roughly 8% per year until age 70. And again, that's according to the Social Security Administration. That delay doesn't just increase their checks, it strengthens their entire household income for life, adding inflation protection and higher survivor benefits. By using that pension to fill the gap early, they could have locked in more lifetime income later, the kind that keeps pace with rising costs. Step 3, sequence withdrawals strategically. Instead of pulling from all these accounts proportionally, they could have drawn from taxable brokerage accounts first, and that would have kept their modified adjusted gross income lower, preserving eligibility for those ACM healthcare premium tax credits that come before Medicare. It also would have allowed tax-deferred accounts like 401ks and IRAs to keep compounding longer and created an ideal window for Roth conversions in those lower tax years, reducing those future required minimum distributions and future tax exposure. Strategic sequencing like this prevents retirees from being pushed into higher tax brackets later in life, especially once RMDs and Social Security start to overlap. Step 4, stress test that plan annually. A sustainable retirement plan isn't static. They could have revisited their income projections every year, adjusting for inflation, tax law changes, and any healthcare costs to keep their probability of success high and their lifestyle secure. By coordinating their pension, Social Security, and withdrawals as a unified system, Tom and Sarah could have increased their long-term income stability and reduced lifetime taxes without having to save another dollar. Instead, they learned too late that the most dangerous assumption in retirement isn't, I don't have enough, it's, I'll figure it out when I get there. If you're approaching retirement, learn from Tom and Sarah. Don't just think about how much you saved, think about how you can use it. Define your income gap early. Coordinate your pension with your Social Security timing. Sequence withdrawals to manage taxes, not just for this year, but for the next 20. And that's how you build a plan that doesn't just work good on paper. It works year after year. Because true retirement confidence doesn't come from guessing, it comes from clarity, coordination, and control. And now that you understand how most Americans spend their pensions wrong and the strategic reframing that is needed to optimize pension income for a lifetime, you can fix these mistakes before they create irreversible retirement income gaps. So if you feel like you're in a similar situation where you need to optimize your pension strategy and coordinate it with your other retirement income sources, click the link below and book your call, and we'll analyze your specific situation to help you optimize your retirement plan as a whole. Until next time, take care.